Hi guys, it's Tracy in Australia and I'm here to share my latest project. I hope that you are all safe and well. This is a little bit of a diversion for me in terms of my junk journaling. I made this specifically for myself. It doesn't contain very much writing space. It's actually my attempts at mixed media. I don't come from an art background and I really love mixed media. So I have been watching so many videos and I thought I'm just going to try and adapt a little bit of what I do to that style. So this is it. I repurposed the cover of an old novel, and it's actually an old copy of Pride and Prejudice, which just happens to be one of my favorite novels. I'm a very big reader. And I love the color, this really dark blue, and I love the gold embossing. So I purchased a Tim Holtz cameo to put on it and used this seam binding, and I actually did that because on top of the book there's a little round mark and I just wanted to distract the eye from that, but I didn't want to not use the book because of it. So on the spine here I've actually dismantled the cover and put it back together. I really am fascinated and absolutely love the look of books that are falling apart, really old books, and I want to try and develop a technique for achieving more of a look. So I thought, well, I'll do that on this because I'm keeping it. The embossing is a little bit worn in places, so that kind of helps to keep that in character. So inside I retained the existing end papers because I really loved the color. I just added a little bit of lace. So this journal takes a lot of inspiration and two digital paper sets from a Finnish place called Paper Garden, and I'll leave a link to the Paper Garden kits that I used and also a link to the YouTube channel of it's a husband and wife team, and I'll leave a link to the wife's channel because she's an amazing artist who I have found very inspiring. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to talk a lot about what I've done. If you've got any questions, just ask me. And as I said, it's just my little attempts at achieving more of mixed media in my journals. So lots of collaging and lots of stamping. I've done stenciling. And while there are little cards, tags that I've made, as I said, that it's not really a writing journal. It's more to let me explore techniques. So I've used lots of vintage lace, a lot of which came from a very dear friend of mine, Maureen Greason from the United States. Lots of stamping, like this is all stamped. This is one of my typical things that I've done in my keepsake journals. So I've just added that in. The moth comes from the kit and the quotes. If not from the kit, the quotes are from the journals that the Finnish lady makes. I did try to find additional Finnish vintage photos and things to use, which wasn't very easy. I wanted to retain that kind of feeling. I love using these pages, and they're actually from an old stamp book album, and they're actually embossed with spider webs with little spiders on them. They're the coolest pages and they feel beautiful, and I love the color. So I just made a little scrappy piece. I did use Lindy's, two different Lindy's sprays in a lot of the journal, and that really shows those colors there. This is actually a flip up. One of the beautiful images from the kit, just really beautiful. And I just made a tag to go in there. So these were all from the kit. Vintage wedding dress appliques. Use lots of dangly bits down the bottom and up the tops. And here I've added in a paper bag. These are actually stickers. I bought some botanical stickers recently. This is Kaiser Craft die cut and frame. Tim Holtz words, I've used those quite a lot. Just a little tag made out of an offcut. So here I've folded down the edges of the paper and put some lace at the back. Just really, really like that. This was a little flip. And I did mean to leave the back open so that I could add a little tag, but in my toing and froing I'd forgotten. I love these botanical images, and I've added a little tiny bit of glitter to those. All the pages were hand torn and inked. I like this bit up here. I used Kaiser Craft die cut over the top of one of the photos that's provided in the kit. So it's a little frame, but I didn't cut away the photo, I left that. And I love this color up here. It looks like two different bits of paper, but it's actually not. Washi. So I've tried to do lots of things that I sometimes add in my journals, but put it all together. This is one of my favorite pages. I really love the sepia tones. So Tim Holtz stamp behind it, inked. And then the little Tim Holtz sayings and an applique from a wedding dress. Don't you love these 1920, 1930 photos? They're so posed. So different to anything that came before and anything after. I'm not a huge fan. I don't think I could do an entire 1920, 30 journal, but I love a little bit of it. Absolutely loved F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby when I read it. It was fantastic. And this was, I kind of went out of my comfort zone with this one. I had this piece of a page left, which I would normally turn into a tag, but it had a big piece cut out of it where I'd fussy cut something. So I decided to use the whole bit and disguise where the cut line with these flowers, and added in a little bit of lace, some creeper cloth behind it, and did a little bit of collaging. Some skeleton leaves. I've had these for ages and not used them, so I thought this is my chance when I'm trying lots of things. And that actually flips open. This is one of the most beautiful pages in the kit. This gorgeous, gorgeous little girl. A little quote. And again, those botanicals that I love, and I just added that bit of glitter. Some of Maureen's beautiful lace that she gifted me. So this one I've made a pocket. So page with light stamping. And then this one here. So I've got this bit of scrap, and then I've added an organza pocket which I've sewn around, and it just has some little pieces in it. That was taken from the, there's my naughty dogs barking. Stroopy! They don't normally bark. Hopefully it'll be a package being delivered. So here I just put the card onto the photo onto a scrappy piece of paper, and I've added in some Tim Holtz words there and left it open so I can pop in a bit of ephemera. I did use clocks as a bit of a theme throughout because There were vintage images, and those two things kind of go together. If I had thought about it more, I would have added in a moving piece to that, because I do like to have movement. Look at this beautiful lace from Maureen. There's two different types, just stunning. So a little bit more of my stenciling. You can see the beautiful Lindy's inks. This was just a little leftover piece, and because it was a clock, I thought I would use it as a little tuck spot. And then I had this little scrappy piece. I added in a little saying, "Courage, dear heart," from C.S. Lewis. How cute is that? Little frame with a little photo in it, and this is a sticker. So this page is quite busy. I love this little piece that comes from the kit. Little saying, "Your whole life is a miracle." Tim Holtz stamps and some Tim Holtz washi. Then I did supplement the little pieces of ephemera that I've used with some Tim Holtz stamps onto some vintage paper. Again, the clock. This is Maud Feely. She's one of the most beautiful photos, vintage photos that you see. A lot of people use this image. It's just so beautiful. Collaging prima die cut of a doily, and then a ticket behind it, and stamping. I tore that away so that you could see the Paris stamp down the bottom. Added in some lace. And then this is a garment pin. There's a little heart and a little bead. Just again, vintage laces, some old scrappy paper which I lightly script stamped, and then I've sewn on, oh no, I didn't sew, vintage photo, and just layered some of the ephemera pieces and a little other bit of lace. I did try to find finished wildflowers to use, but I couldn't, so I have actually just included some other pieces when I needed something as a tuck. These were some receipts, French receipts that I printed onto some very light butcher's paper. Just an offcut. I've left it torn, and then glued a little piece of lace on the bottom. And again, an eyelet, and I've tied organza to that in a little bow. Made a little pocket. So torn some scraps, and the inking and the stamping, turned that little bit of the page down and added in some little pieces. Very cute little vintage photo of a child with a little bear on a string, and the bear has wheels. And then this little quote, "In a gentle way, you can shake the world." And Emilia often uses that in her work, and I've put that in there as a little tribute to her, because her beautiful work has definitely shaken my creative world in a good way. And one of the very few pieces of finish vintage ephemera that I was able to find. Challenge the world, exploring, which is what I've done in this journal. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and stay safe and keep crafting.